Helps if I bring the microphone up. Hello, and welcome to my very secretive, because this video is not going to be live straight away. This is going to be an unlisted video to prove that I've actually made these predictions before playing Darksiders 3. But this is my Darksiders 3 story and game prediction video, where, based on what I've seen of the first hour and a half, roughly, of the game, up until meeting Ulthane and collecting the bridge talisman thing, these are going to be my predictions, and I've got them all written down on my phone here, so I'm just going to read them off and explain and upload this, and then I can come back and revisit these predictions afterwards, and nobody can call me out saying, oh yeah, you must have watched all the walkthroughs for the game, blah 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 blah, assuming I'm right about any of them. So, prediction number 1, Fury doesn't die at the end. I'm assuming Fury doesn't die at the end because they've basically done that with both games so far, Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, and I can't imagine that they are going to be using... Can't imagine that they are going to do the same thing again. Prediction number 2. Fury will undergo some kind of hero's journey. She will change from this brash, impatient, irritating, almost edgelord, as many people have described her, character that she is at the start of. I almost said play then, I've been teaching drama today. At the start of the game, into something much more sympathetic over the course of the 13, 14, 15 hours runtime, whatever it is. She'll turn into a more balanced character, I think. I don't think she's going to lose her edge completely, but I do think she's going to become a more sympathetic character, somebody that we can relate to a little bit more. Based on the thing that we've seen with Ulthane, again, it's about an hour and a half maybe into the game, I think humanity is going to play a substantial role in Fury's story, because she is so antagonistic towards the hairless simians that I think they're going to become central to what she is and what she has to do. That's going to be part of her hero's journey, even to the possible extent that I've been thinking about a question that somebody in the comments posed as to why Fury isn't around on Earth or Darksiders 1, and I think that she is going to end up doing something to help these last dregs of humanity escape, maybe, because they're not around either. Either that or there's some big-ass battle and she dies at the end. But I don't think she's going to die. I don't think they'd do that for the third game in a row. So maybe she's going to be clued in to their importance. Who knows? Prediction number, what are we on? 4. The Watcher. I am sceptical of the Watcher. As is Fury, to start off with. Why is the Watcher there? Why is the Watcher a fan? What is she a fan of? I think there's more to the Watcher than meets the eye currently. Prediction number 5. I think we're going to get more info about these guys, the Charred Council, as bad guys, because it doesn't take a genius to work out that the Charred Council are, if not villains, then at least antagonists. I don't trust them. Fury does. I don't think Fury should. War certainly doesn't. So I think perhaps they are going to betray Fury, even though she is loyal to them. I think they are going to betray her, and stuff's going to go down. Maybe she's going to find out the hard way that they are not good people. Ulthane. We know Ulthane's in the game. And we know Ulthane is also in Darksiders 1. So he is still on Earth. So whatever happens to the humans that he is shepherding, he does not go with them. Maybe they all get wiped out, and that's what causes him to stay on Earth and get really kind of bitter and antagonistic towards War, because he blames War for kicking off the whole thing. Don't know. This is a bit of a story arc for Ulthane. as well. And we've also seen that there are other makers here on Earth with Ulthane, but they are not here in Darksiders 1. So do they escape? Do they shepherd the humans away? Do they all die? That certainly make Ulthane a bit bitter. So yeah, that's that prediction. I've forgotten which one I'm on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Usil, whatever it is, the angel and Abraxas, angel and demon. Because there's one of each, maybe they're mortal enemies, maybe they are responsible for some kind of side quests that we are involved in. Maybe we'll even have to pick a side between them. Will we help the angel? Will we help the demon? I do believe there are some elements of choice in this. And potentially, does this lead to a possibility of multiple ending? I don't know. I've so far managed to avoid all but one spoiler, about which I'm not very happy and will refer to when I actually get to play the game. Actually, no, I'll talk about it now. The horse. I've said in previous videos, I don't think we're going to have the horse. I don't think we're going to have Rampage for most of the game. It has been spoiled for me, thanks to some dick in the comments on the horse trailer video who says that Rampage dies. Rampage is dead at the hands of Wrath, one of the 7 sins. I think the second sin that we fight. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, and I'm hoping that there is more to it, because I don't know how. I don't know whether we get to see Rampage die or what, but I know that he dies. And that doesn't bother me in the slightest, because I didn't use the horse very much in the previous 2 games. I didn't particularly like the horse controls. So it's not an issue for me that these horsemen don't have horses. Yeah, no big deal. Don't mind. From what I've seen of the of Rampage in the trailer, clearly Fury cares for Rampage very much. So maybe his death will tip her over the edge and something will happen because of it. Don't know. Interested to find out. We have seen a cutscene in one of the trailers with Fury, Death, and War together. I am fairly certain that this is a trick, an illusion, crafted by one of the sins to confuse and confound her, rather than an actual meetup. I just don't think it makes sense in the timeline of the game for that to be a thing. But it's interesting that Strife wasn't in that cutscene, unless they've cut him out for that cutscene so as not to reveal he's there. In which case, I think it would be the first time that we've seen all 4 on screen at once, which would be cool. But I do think it's a trick. The scope of the story as a whole, I do feel like we're going to get a moving forward, an expansion. I think there is going to be more gravitas and more heft to it in terms of the narrative being fleshed out. I do feel like they've got an idea of where they want to go with it, especially when it comes to the Charred Council. I'm getting the idea that the motivations of the Charred Council might get fleshed out and become a little bit more known to us. This idea that somebody has released the 7 sins from their prison, I would not be surprised if it is one of, if not the whole council, that has done that, and they're sending Fury out there to reclaim their power. Perhaps, maybe they actually need kind of putting back in their place, and the council wants that, but I don't know. But it's interesting to think about. I also noted, actually, from this bit, that the Lord of the Hollows, who narrates the start, sounds very similar to the Charred Council, and I wonder if there's actually a connection there. I don't know what. But speaking of the Charred Council, are they the big heads? Is that what they are, or are those mouthpieces? Because the Lord of the Hollows we've seen as an actual kind of humanoid figure. And it'd be quite cool. And actually, one of the things I thought about way back when I first played the first Darksiders, were those big stone faces with the lava dripping? Are they just kind of vessels for some other being somewhere else? I'm intrigued, and I'm hoping that we find out at least a little bit more about the Child Council and their motivations. So those are my predictions about the story. We'll see whether anything comes to fruition. I've also got a few gameplay predictions. Number 1, there's going to be bugs. There's going to be lots of bugs. Darksiders 1, Darksiders 2, Darksiders 2 Definitive, Darksiders 1 War Mastered, all of them had lots of bugs. There were graphical glitches, there was weird texture popping. There will be bugs. And I will not really care, really. As long as I enjoy the game, as long as the bugs don't piss me off, I will be fine with a few bugs, especially for Darksiders 3. They are such a small, reduced studio. There's like 40 people working for them now. So there's going to be bugs. There are going to be bugs, and I've accepted that, and I'll deal with it. I expect the combat to be entertaining, quite challenging, especially on the higher difficulties, possibly a bit repetitive. Again, I'm fine with that. The Souls games have got repetitive combat that's challenging. I like that. As long as it's not challenging because it's buggy, then I'll be fine. Fewer puzzles. Darksiders 1 was a Zelda clone with some God of War elements. Darksiders 2 was less of a Zelda clone and more of a Zelda, Diablo, Prince of Persia mashup, in my opinion. And I enjoyed it less. I liked the combat. I thought the combat was slightly better than 1, but I didn't like the loot collection. I thought the time that we spent in menus and the kind of amount of systems that were in place were a little bit... It looked like there was more, but actually I found it a little bit shallow. And actually going back to what made the first game more successful for me, the streamlined and the focus on story and exploration and less on the puzzles, because I've always found puzzles in Zelda games a little bit meh. It's like, oh, handily, there's a block here that you can push up there and get there. It's like, who put the block there? Why is the block there? So the idea that this is going to have more naturalistic puzzles actually appeals to me a little bit more than the Zelda style of stuff does. I'm much happy with this idea of a more natural environment, and the puzzles are more natural in it and don't stick out like a sore thumb. No map. I think the lack of map is going to bug a hell of a lot of people, and it's not going to bother me at all. Didn't have a map for Dark Souls 3, didn't have a map for Bloodborne, still platinumed Bloodborne. Haven't got round to platinuming Dark Souls 3 because I haven't played the DLC for it yet. Got to get around to that. So, the lack of map will bug a lot of people because, it always used to have a map. It didn't used to be a kind of twisty-turny, spidery complex. The lack of loot, the lack of Diablo-style loot, the RPG system, RNG, such as it is, from Darksiders 2. I think the lack of that is going to bug a hell of a lot of people. It's not going to bug me. I didn't like it. I liked what they were trying to do, and I liked the sets that you got as you leveled up, but just the random generated loot, yeah, couldn't give two shits about that. I'm kind of glad it's gone, actually. Consumable drops, fine with, as long as there's not too many of them. Something that Neo did was give you a bazillion different consumable drops, and it's like, oh my god, that's too many. Stick with Wrath and health and the stuff that fills up your Havoc form bar and your souls. I'll be happy with that. If there's something for attack and defense, fair enough. Any more than that, meh. No thanks. I've already mentioned that the lack of horse, couldn't care less. Honestly, just because they're a horseman, they've got to have a horse. I've seen a couple of people say, "Oh, no horse means it's not a game about the horseman." It's like, yeah, the horseman's just a title. It doesn't mean they have to have the horses all the time. War didn't have Ruin for half to a third of the original Darksiders, and I know a lot of people complained about that, but when they did get the horse, it's like, meh. You know, in a game that's all about dungeons and stuff, what are you going to do with a horse? Who cares? A lot of people, apparently. And finally, Metroidy gameplay. I love the Metroid games. Anybody who's been around on my channel for a while knows that I love Metroidvanias and I love Metroid style games. Exploration, focus on finding items, focus on finding pathways to loop round into other areas. I love that kind of stuff. And I know in the 2D Metroid games they've got maps, you know, to show you where you are. But in a 3D environment, just like Bloodborne does it, just like Dark Souls does it, you'll be able to see landmarks and say, okay, that's over there. I've got my kind of compassy thing. I can roughly make my way to it, and you'll be able to see glimpses of stuff. So I love Metroid. I love exploration games. I think it's going to bug the shit out of people that it's not kind of, this is your map, these are your floors, these are your Zelda-style dungeons. It's a real change, I think, and I think a lot of people are going to really dislike it because of that. But I'm not going to be one of them. So the problems that I think I'm going to have, I'm still not 100% sold on the voice actor for Fury. But I think the more I hear it, the more it'll grow on me. And the bugs, because I know there's going to be bugs, and I just hope that there's maybe a day one patch, because I know people on the PS4 have had issues, technical wise. I think there's been an HDR patch or something like that. But you know, people have had the game for a week now. Streamers and YouTubers have already played through the game. I believe somebody's already platinumed it on the PS4 before those of us who are on Steam even get a chance to. We haven't even got the chance to preload it, let alone play it. But you know, it's 20 to 6 on the 27th now. I'm not going to edit this video. I'm just going to throw it up there as is, and I will refer back to it after having completed the game over the next couple of days, because I am going to blitz through it. My biggest worry is that somebody is going to spoil more of the story for me. I don't want to know. I want to experience the story. This is what I like about story-driven games, and I'm so annoyed that despite saying, please don't be a dick and spoil things in the comments of videos, that people still did it. It's one of the reasons why my videos are still on review comments only, and there's probably some comments building up in there. I've not read them. I've avoided YouTube except to upload the messenger videos for the last couple of days. So those are my predictions for Darksiders 3, and I will be referring back to this video in probably a slightly more edited format later on. So have I got an easy way of I've got an easy way of proving. Don't know whether you can see that. No, you can't. 27th, as soon as it focuses. 27th of November, 1740. I was going to say 17:40 PM, but that would be wrong. 5:40 PM, 17:40 GMT. Those are my predictions for Darksiders 3. See you all back in the wrap-up video after I finish playing the game. And I do hope you have enjoyed, because they'll be out by the time this gets released to the public. I hope you've enjoyed my playthrough. I hope I've enjoyed my playthrough. I really hope I do. Until then, enjoy the game. See you all later. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. Remember to ring the bell to be notified when new videos go live. And until next time, Toodle pip.